How to hire your first VA for your online coaching business. What is a VA and why do you need one? So, in short, a VA is a virtual assistant. A virtual assistant is someone that works remotely, and what they do is that they help you carry out administrative, technical, and some creative tasks in your business. So, what this looks like, for example, is for a online coaching business, you would hire a VA if the time is right to carry out your tedious tasks that really and truly as a business owner you don't like doing. So, for example, this could be something like outreach, this could be follow ups, this could be replying to emails, and this could be scheduling and managing appointments, right? So, these are the type of tasks you'd hire a virtual assistant to come in and actually take over, right? So, why? Why do you need a virtual assistant? Is it a good fit for you? How do you actually identify this? So, first of all, why? Virtual assistants are cost effective. So, simply put, you are going to hire someone, ideally remote, overseas, right? And what would happen is it allows you to save cost because they're remote. And traditionally, you'd hire VAs in countries where it's cheap, right? So, third world countries and places in the Philippines, for instance, South Africa, for instance, which is not really third world, but these are traditionally places where want you tend to find your VAs, right? And it's traditionally very cost effective for your business. It's also time efficiency, right? Saves you a lot of time. So what happens now is you brought in a VA, and the VA is now able to carry out these administrative, tedious, time-consuming tasks that you spend as a business owner a lot of time doing. So what happens is it now frees up your time to focus on tasks that actually drives the business and move the business further. Scalability. So scalability is an important one for an online coaching business because you reach a certain point where as a business owner that you need to grow, you need to move forward, and you need to get onto the next level, right? A VA allows you to scale because now you can bring in one or two individuals that can actually work and speed up the process of you scaling into the next phase for your business. First things first, right? So before you start looking at hiring a VA, you need to define the role for your VA that you want to hire. Defining the role for the VA allows you to have clarity in the task that they'll be carrying out. So this includes setting out the roles and responsibility and expectations for the virtual assistant. It's important to set this because it creates no guesswork, right? So for you as a business owner, you know exactly, okay, cool, it's written down pen to paper. This is what the VA will be doing. And also what it does, it allows the VA to be transparent with you and it creates that clarity in what's expected versus what's given. It also allows efficiency in operation. So bringing in a VA in terms of efficiency is it allows you to ensure so defining the role for the VA allows you to ensure that there is consistency in tasks that they're performing. So once you've defined the role, you've made it clear in terms of the clarity of task, and you've presented it to the virtual assistant, it ensures that there is consistency in how the tasks that you've been carrying out in the past are being performed. Also, alignment with the business goals. This is very important because you as a online coaching owner, coaching business owner, you've got your business goals that you want to achieve, right? Hence why you're now in a position where you thought, okay, cool, I need to save more time, I need to be able to scale, so I'm going to look for a virtual assistant. And defining the role for the virtual assistant ensures that the VA and yourself are aligned in what is expected and what you both want to achieve for the business, especially yourself as the owner. It also ensures effective communication There's no guesswork. There's no, oh, but I didn't actually think that I should be doing this, or I wasn't really sure about this. So defining the role ensures that the communication is plain and simple, for everybody to see and understand. It also increase productivity, right? So if there is a standard of operation that the VA reviews and understands this is what they've been carrying out, it just means it is simple. They come in, they know what they have to do, and they carry on with the task. And also it provides a good working environment, right? So it ensures that everyone is aligned, there's clarity in the task, and there's no traction within the business. And you always, as a business owner, especially when hiring your first hire, you want to ensure that the culture is right and then the environment is fit for anyone joining your team. Standard of operation and documentation. This is very important, right? So once you've identified the role for the VA, the next step would be to identify your standards of operations. Most likely, you might not have one already, but if you do, that's good. Um, but it's also important to document this, to have this documented. And this also allows you to simplify your process and even gives you a holistic view of your current business and where you can improve. So, in terms of the standard of operation and documentation, the first thing you want to do is create documents to order what you're doing. So first things first is you need to be able to store your documents somewhere. You could use a software, you could use Google Docs, you could use, for instance, Notion, which I'm a big fan of, and I've used in the past with my clients. And within Notion, you want to document the order of what you're doing. So what are you trying to achieve in terms of your standard of operation and your documentation? And then within this Notion doc, you want to analyze your step-by-step process and document it. So you now doing a review of your step-by-step process within your business. Ideally, you want to narrow it towards the role that you've identified for the VA. So, for instance, if you're bringing in a VA to carry out your outreach process, you want to review that process, create and analyze a written step by step guide on what you do, how you do it, and then document this within Notion. So, this would be a walkthrough that would ideally include both text and video based content, right? It's very important to have these variations because you don't really want to have a big documentation of just text saying step one, step two. Being able to utilize video based content, for instance, a Loom video running you through how you actually do your outreach or your cold emailing, or even your content creation, for instance, right, allows you to have that as an asset within the business. So you now have the video-based content that you can then scale, and then it can be utilized by different new hires within the business and in the future as well. There are some downsides to video-based content. It's not easy for you to update on the fly, so you might need to create a new video-based content once there's a change in your process or a change in the system that you've been using in the past. So just to bear that in mind. The next is the task and their frequency. It's always good practice to, within the walkthrough and the step-by-step process and the task that you've identified for the VA, to set their frequency, right? So is this a task that they'll be doing daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and so on? It's good practice to have that transparency, have that there for the virtual assistant to review and understand, okay, cool, I have to do this every morning before going on to the next step. You also want to include a estimated time of completion. For instance, it takes 5 minutes to do this, 2 minutes to do this, 30 minutes to do this. Just allows the virtual assistant to be able to kind of schedule and prioritize their task, and gets an overview of what's involved in that particular task. Also, another good thing to include is any roadblocks or potential problems that the virtual assistant will face whilst carrying out this task. It could be objection handling. It could be, for instance, yeah, stuff like objection handling and when it comes to their outreach process. Also, within the documentation, you want to include training programs. So, training programs section would include more information about your business. So, this is stuff that the virtual assistant will be reviewing. So, it'd be company knowledge, it would be client journey within the business, it would also be your ideal customer profile um, within your business. It could also include a FAQ section, and also tools and systems that you use within your business and any sort of training programs related to those systems. For instance, if you use Lemlist or LinkedIn Sales Navigator for your outreach, you could have a video documenting how you use this for that particular task within your business. The next step is the strategy to hiring a virtual assistant. Where do you hire a virtual assistant and how do you go around doing that? So traditionally, there are three methods or three places where you can hire a virtual assistant. The first one is your personal network. This is by far, I think, the easiest if you have a big personal network or if you have a network of individuals within that space that are already using virtual assistant. It's easier. It's easier because you know what you're getting out of it, out of the VA, right? So, but it might be time consuming. So if you don't have the time to make a post in, for instance, a Facebook group or any of your mastermind groups, and then review the the VAs that have been provided back, it might be a little bit of a long process. So that's one thing to be aware of. So personal networks can include Facebook groups, could include mastermind, it could include your Instagram, your LinkedIn. So you could make a post on LinkedIn saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a virtual assistant. I want to grow my team. Please send me any recommendations." Or you could also make a post on your Instagram story. You could also go to the traditional freelancer websites, so the Upworks, the Fivers, and these will allow you to actually find a vast um, pool of virtual assistant in different regions for you to play around with. The slight downside to that is you don't exactly know what you're gonna get, so therefore your job description and your interview process has to be very, very vigorous. Um, There are also the third one is placement agencies. Placement agencies, somewhat as a recruitment agency, are agencies that you can reach out to that um, offer you virtual assistants, right? So this obviously will cost more, but you know what you're getting. They're already trained, they're guaranteed, and they're vetted. And some placement agencies have guarantees that what VA you hire will actually achieve. And if they've not achieved that, you can always go back and then get a new VA hired for your business. So in terms of the strategy, the job description is important. You can use ChatGPT, which I highly recommend, to break down exactly what it is you're looking for in a VA. So use ChatGPT. It's there. It's simple. It's free. Use it to your advantage, and draft up a straight, concise job description for your job ad, right? If you're going, for instance, for the freelancer website, which majority of my clients use, right? So would use ChatGPT to draft up a job description, and a tip I always advise my clients is to ensure within the job description that there is something that you could get the VA or all the candidates applying for this job to identify when applying. This is to ensure that they've actively read through the whole job description and they've understood it. So, for instance, something we do is that we have a line at the end of the job description saying, please add this number to your application when applying. And this just allows us to know that, okay, cool, they've actually taken the time to actually review the complete job description. In terms of the interview process, majority of my clients do two-stage interview process. They bring me on board to actually um, run the first stage interview, and the second stage interview and the first stage interview will just be competency-based questions, just trying to get a feel of their experience, what they've done in the past, and where they're trying to go in terms of aspirations and other little general competency-based questions. The second stage interview would be with the business owner, so yourself, where you'd carry out more scenario-based questions and trying to see them live to actually carry out some of your tasks, just to ensure that they understand what it is you are expected of them. The next thing in terms of your strategy is how much do you want to pay them? So this is completely up to you to decide as a business owner. Traditionally, you see anywhere between $5 to $10 an hour for a virtual assistant, and also you need to also identify how much time do you want them to spend a day on these tasks. So there is, guys, that's the video on how to hire your first virtual assistant. If you're an online business coach looking to scale, I hope this video has been useful. And yeah, please like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what your thoughts are and if you have any questions. Thank you.